Rough Guides Ltd is a travel guidebook and reference publisher, owned by Penguin Random House. Their travel titles cover more than 200 destinations, and they are distributed worldwide through the Penguin Group. The series began with the 1982 Rough Guide to Greece, a book conceived by Mark Ellingham, who was dissatisfied with the polarization of existing guidebooks between cost-obsessed student guides and heavyweight cultural tomes. Initially, the series was aimed at low-budget backpackers. The Rough Guides books have incorporated more expensive recommendations since the early 1990s, and books have had color printing since the late 1990s, which are now marketed to travelers on all budgets. Much of the book's travel content is also available online. Ellingham left Rough Guides in November 2007 after the company had celebrated 25 rough years with a celebratory series of books, to set up a new green and ethical imprint, Green Profile, at Profile Books. Rough Guides was run from 2003 until later in the decade by co-founder Martin Dunford and Andrew Lockett, under the aegis of Penguin before the merger with Random House. It is based at the Penguin offices at 80 Strand, London, with a satellite office in Delhi. The slogan of Rough Guides is "Make the most of your time on Earth." Books. Most of the series' early titles were written or edited by John Fisher, Jack Holland and Martin Dunford, who along with Mark Ellingham were co-founders and owners of Rough Guides. In 1995, they negotiated the sale of the series to Penguin Books, a process which was completed in 2002. In 1994, the first ever non-travel Rough Guides books were published: The Rough Guide to World Music and The Rough Guide to Classical Music. The success of these titles encouraged Rough Guides' expansion into other areas of publishing to cover a range of reference subjects, including music, covering genres such as world music, rock, hip-hop, jazz, and individual artists, and topics such as film, literature, popular science, ethical living, true crime, Shakespeare, pregnancy and birth, plus the internet and related subjects such as eBay, blogging and iPods. Digital publishing. Rough Guides migrated to digital platforms with the launch of Rough Guides City Guides for iOS, Android and Windows platforms, interactive ebooks and downloadable guide chapters. In January 2013, Rough Guides launched a new website, Music, in association with UK-based record label World Music Network. Rough Guides has issued over 350 recorded anthologies of the music of various nations and regions. In addition to that Rough Guide series, the record label World Music Network has released 130 recordings in their other Introducing, Riverboat, and Think Global series. Albums released in the series include The Rough Guide to ... Bangra, Tito Puente, Romanian Gypsies, Hungarian Gypsies and Ali Hassan Cuban. Television. In the late 1980s, the Rough Guides brand was spun off into a series of travel shows on United Kingdom television channel BBC Two. Initially part of Janet Street, Porter's Def 2 Strand, alongside Rapido and Giovanotti's Gimme 5, the show outlasted the UFTV Strand and became established in BBC Two's early 1990s evening schedule. Later editions of the show, usually hosted by Sergei Sputnik associate Magenta Devine, were repeated on the Sky Travel Channel until 2005. A new Rough Guide series of 15 30-minute programs started production in November 2007 and began airing on Channel 5. On the 7th of January 2008, a second Rough Guide to series was aired starting in November 2008. Environmental campaigns. In spring 2006, Mark Ellingham said he had grave concerns about the growth of air travel because of its growing contribution to climate change. He launched a joint awareness campaign with Tony Wheeler, and Rough Guides began including a health warning in each of its travel guides, urging readers to fly less, stay longer, wherever possible.